Hello Year 3 and welcome to today's maths lesson. We're carrying on with fractions, but first of all I'll do now. I want you to read through the instructions carefully on the screen and then upload your answers to Seesaw. So once you've got the do now on your screen, please press pause to complete it. Fantastic, looking forward to seeing those answers. So today we are going to be comparing unit fraction. So to be successful, we need to identify the features of a fraction, use our place value to identify smaller and greater numbers, and we need to compare fractions with the correct comparison signs. So remember, less than, we've got our hungry crocodile who's going to eat the bigger number. Equal to, the same. Greater than, the hungry crocodile is going to want to eat that larger number. So our key words: fraction, numerator, vinculum, denominator, compare, and again, less than, equal to, greater than. Right, so we're also going to have kind of a star item for today. So this is something which is called a fraction wall. And as the name suggests, it is a wall made out of fractions. So what this is made up is, you can see here at our top, we've got our whole. So this is our whole, which is 1. And all the way down here, this whole is divided into different parts, different equal parts. And the number of parts that it's divided into is what is its denominator. So as you can see here, this is my whole. I've divided it into 2 equal parts. This is my whole. As you can see here, I've divided it into 3 equal parts. This is my whole. I've divided it into 4 equal parts, and so on. What you can see if you look at this, and what is interesting about your fraction wall, is here, this line, we've got our halves. So this shape has been divided into 2 equal parts. So 2 is our denominator here. Then if we go down 1 level to our third, you can see it is divided into 3 equal parts because our denominator is 3, the fraction is a third. And already here, you can see that we can quickly look at this and see that a third is smaller than a half, because this is split into 3 equal parts, whilst this is split into 2 equal parts. You've got your same whole, but this is the 2 equal parts is always going to be larger than 3 equal parts, because you're sharing this between more, you're sharing the whole between more parts. And you can see this as you go down. Just think of it as maybe like a bar of chocolate, for example. You would say if you were just sharing it with one other person, you'd each get half a bar of chocolate. Delicious. However, if you were sharing it maybe with 5 of your friends, so there'd be 6 of you all together, you'd only get 1/6, which, because there's more of you, you'd get less chocolate. So if I asked you, for example, which is larger, 1/5 or 1/9, we can use our fraction wall to quickly see that if we go down here from 1/5 and we go down to 1/9, so you can see that 1/5 is clearly a larger part of our whole than 1/9. My 1/5, I've split my whole into 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 1/9, I split my whole into 9 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you split it into 9 parts. So my 9 parts of 1 are going to be smaller than my 5 parts of 1. So there's a rule with comparing fractions of unit fractions. So unit fractions is where my denominator is a number and where my numerator is always 1. So unit fraction is numerator is 1. So if with a unit fraction, the larger your denominator, the smaller the fraction is going to be. That is because we're finding out a fraction of 1. 1 is our whole, and we are then splitting our whole 1 between more and more parts. So it's more and more people need to share, or more and more groups that we need to share between. So I've got a quick task for you. You might want to press pause after I've gone through it. I want you to select 2 unit fractions of your own to compare. Which is smaller, which is greater, and how do you know? How do you know? So you can use 2 here from your fraction wall, or if you want a challenge, you can think of your own unit fraction. So I suggest you pause now to have maybe a minute or 2 think. Great. Well, I hope you understood that the larger the number of the denominator, the smaller the fraction is going to be. Because think about it, remember, the larger the denominator, you're sharing it between more parts. So everyone's going to get a smaller piece of the pie, or cake, or pizza. Right, so what we're now going to look at is how you can use this knowledge of finding your unit fractions, how you can use your knowledge in word problems. So here's the situation. I have got 2 sets of 6 tennis balls, and I've got 2 children who want the tennis balls and 3 children who want the tennis balls. I need to work out how many tennis balls that they will get each. So I've got 2 children here and 3 children here. My whole is 6. My whole is 6. I need to group my whole into 2 groups and 3 groups. So I need to split my whole into 2 and into 3 groups. So I'm going to split my group here, my 2 children, into 2 groups. Do my circles down here. Right. 1, 2, 3. 1 group. 1, 2, 3. 2 group. So in each group, I have 3 balls, which obviously representing cubes. So I know that I'm splitting my whole, which is 6, into 2 equal groups, which we know is a half. So 1/2 of 6 is equal to 3. Here, I'm splitting my groups into 3. I'm splitting my whole, which is 6, in between 3 children. So I'm going to split my whole into 3 equal groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My whole is 6, and I've divided it into 3 equal groups, which I know whatever the number of groups is my denominator. So I've worked out what is 1/3 of 6, which equals 2. Therefore, the children who are in a group of 2 will get more tennis balls because they will get 3 each, while the group who are in 3 will, the group of children who are, there's 3 of them, they will only get 2 tennis balls. So you can see here, I've been able to use different unit fractions and use them in fractions of amounts to compare. Let's take a look at another example. So these sweets are sold in bags of 16. 2 girls buy 1 bag of sweets and share them equally. 4 boys buy 1 bag of sweets and share them equally. Who will get the most sweets? Have a think, maybe pause the video for a minute, how we could solve this problem, thinking about what we've done just then. How could we solve this problem? Okay, so looking at this problem, we know our whole. Our whole is 16. Let's see that a bit better. There we go. Our whole is 16. Our whole is 16. We're needing to share our whole between one group of our whole between 2 and then our whole between 4. So we know these are going to be the denominators of our fraction and also the number that we are sharing our whole between. So we need to split 16 into 2 equal groups and 16 into 4 equal groups. So let's have a look and see how we would solve this. So what we would need to do is we would need to draw our equal groups. So you'd start off by drawing your whole into equal groups. So let's count and see here. We've got our split into equal groups, but let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this has been split equally into 2 groups. Let's count how many are in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in each group we have 8 sweets. So the girls get 8 sweets each. We know that because if we do 16, which is our whole, and we divide it by the denominator, which is 2, we get 8. So 1/2 of 16 is equal to 8. The boys here have a quarter of the sweets each. So these have been grouped into 4 separate groups. Let's check that this is right together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So they've been split equally into 4 equal groups, and in each group there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 equal groups. Remember, we will do the whole, which is 16, divided by the denominator, the number of groups, which is 4. So 16 divided by 4 is equal to 4. You can always use your times tables to check those answers. 2 times 8 equals 16. Remember, that's our inverse. 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So the girls have more sweets because they have 8 each compared to the boys only having 4 each. So you could see maybe that you would have a look at this and you'd maybe have an idea, because you know that if with a unit fraction, the smaller the number, the larger the part is of the whole, but it's always good for us to check. So you can see how we're using what we've already learned with our fractions of amounts here in these calculations. So your independent task for today is you're going to be using the fraction wall, which is on a sheet here, to help you answer the below questions. And they're going to be going through a lot of kind of looking at the fractions themselves. And you, in question 3 and 4 of the first section, you choose your own fractions. Make sure that you're choosing unit fractions. So remember our symbols. Greater than, less than. Remember, with less than, the smaller number always goes first, and then greater than, the larger number always goes first. That's a simple way to forget it. Forget it? I hope you're not going to forget it, to remember it. Okay, looking forward to seeing your work on Seesaw. You're doing some fantastic work with fractions, and good luck. And remember, work neatly and show you're working.